Capricorn, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early August 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Capricorn collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Cappies in early August? It is Leo season at the time of this filming. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. So let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Capricorn. Early August, what's the vibe? What's the energy? We're going to have some fun today, my friends. There we go. Cool. Yeah, this card has seemed to have made a reemergence in recent weeks, especially this week, because I haven't seen it in so long. There were a couple other signs that pulled this week, and I like it. It could be great. It has a lot of energetic potential, especially in the creative realm. But obviously, you see, she has a lot of things on her mind, right? Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the August subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have this lovely lady with the beehive hairdo. It looks like she is posing for a portrait, and she has all these little creative implements in her hair. So again, this is great for creativity, thinking outside the box, whether it's creative problem solving, any creative endeavor, whether it's like a work thing, a hobby thing, you know, music, writing, art. I love it. To me, it's like, all right, I'm thinking outside of the box, which is really great. But it also gives that Four of Cups type of energy where it's like head in the clouds. So for some Capricorns, you might be in imagination land a little more than you normally are. You might have a lot on your mind because she literally has a lot on her mind. Now, again, this doesn't have to be you. This could be somebody else, right? Where it's like, I'm thinking about this and I have to do this and then I have to do that and then I have to do this. So watch out for mental overload, if that makes sense. But this card can be really great for any creative thing. So we're just going to put her down right there. Yeah, a lot of stuff on her mind, right? We'll let her mull that over. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for the Cappies. What do we got going on? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. The energy absolutely was pushing towards a very positive place. The reading was titled The Surprising Payoff. And to me, that always shows up as an experience paying off, effort, hard work paying off in the end. So hopefully you had one. Now, payoffs could come in a lot of different ways: monetarily, work, career, personal development, relationships. But the big thing to me is like, all right, this paid off better than I thought it would. That's what I saw. So just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. There could be a process or something you're going through where you might come out on top. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for the Cappies. What do we have here in early August, please? Thank you. Okay, 4 of Pentacles. That's great for money. That's great for money and work. This is one of my neutral cards, and it's good for an earth sign like yourself, my friends. We're just going to get it tucked in right there by the amethyst. Let's get a couple more. Thank you. 2 totally different speeds. And that's another theme I've been seeing for a few different signs this week, where it's like, okay, we have 2 different extremes of energy showing up here, where this one's full stop, this one's full go. So maybe this energy like busts wide open. Maybe that's a good thing, right? Let's get one more. 2 of Pentacles, balance. So we have 3 totally different modes of how energy could move or is moving. We have the 2 of Pentacles. That's the neutral stance right there. So it's like we have the low effort, we have the high effort, and then we have the flow state. That's exactly how this is shown already. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like that paints a picture, tells us how comfortable you might be with the energy. And in the main part of the spread, it's earth dominant with a little bit of air. Now, the good thing about earth, that is your comfort zone. right? As a Capricorn, that is your power element. It's a good place to be. When I think of Earth, I think of results. I think of routine. I think of ritual. I think of day to day life. It's slow, steady, meticulous. It could represent money, work, business, finance, investments, home, and family. So when we get a lot of Earth, it represents the material aspects of life. And the speed, depending on what you're dealing with, could be very comfortable or it could be a little frustrating. That's when we get to the rough side of Earth energy, because it could also be a little stubborn. It could be an energy that doesn't seem like it's changing. It's an energy that can seem, stuck in a rut. So we'll see. It can have a stubbornness to it. Now, in the center, we have a lot of air, right, with this Knight of Swords, and air is totally different from the Earth. Whereas the Earth is steady, predictable, meticulous, the air energy is like zipping and zooming around, right? The thing I always say about air, it's very cerebral. It can represent logic. It's a very practical type of energy. It deals with facts. It deals with information, perception, how I perceive things. Uh, so I like it for giving or receiving information as well. That's a big thing. That's why it's the communication suit here, where it's like I'm either looking for information, giving it, or receiving it. The downside with air is that since it is so mind based and cerebral, it could represent the overthinking. So, similar to that oracle card we had in the front, it could also be cold and detached. So, as you can see, we have a lot of different ways energy flow, especially when we get into the specifics of what each card means. So, let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, Four of Pentacles. Now, normally I like to start with an action card. This one's not really moving. We see this person clamped on to those pentacles, not budging, not moving. Right now, in the positive sense, love it for money. This is fantastic for stacking those pentacles, budgeting, saving, investing, just stacking them up. So this is really great. I like the cautious approach that comes through with this card. The downside of the Four of Pentacles is when we start looking at interpersonal relationships or emotional situations, right? Because this energy is holding something in, it's holding on to something, it won't let something go. So it could represent possessiveness, it could represent jealousy, it could represent something that we're not letting go of. Again, this could be someone else's energy. I'm not saying it's you, but it's important that we take a close look at it when we clarify it, because this energy can sometimes be a bit of a warning, but it's not moving much. That's the thing. And moving to the center is where we have this huge vibe switch, this huge change of energy. We go in with our Knight of Swords, one of the fastest cards in the whole entire deck. This could be an air sign you're connected to. So Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, potentially. And Knights to me are messengers, but they also denote action. And this one is the fastest one. He's blasting towards something like a rocket. This is full go, full send. Right, so it could be really great, but there's this vibe switch from going full stop to full go could be a little bit jarring. So we want to look into the details of it. Hopefully, it is a breakthrough of energy. Hopefully, it is something that comes in, something you've been waiting for, potentially with this. And again, it could just be a conversation. Now, what's the difficult aspect of this night? It could be confrontational. It could be an energy that pushes too hard. It could force things. So again, with the Four of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, it's like I'm forcing this thing. It's like willpower, power of will and determination, which again isn't a bad thing, but it's just something to watch out for, especially with the conflict, right? Like Four of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, it's like, oh, I've been pissed about this for a while. Now I'm going to let it out. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, because for some of you, this could be that breakthrough type of action or just this big shift. Now, moving to the back end, we have the other mode. We have the Two of Pentacles, where it's neutral, it's calm, it's just letting something flow. So as you can see, Four of Pentacles, not doing much, holding on. Knight of Swords, doing the most. This one is just letting the energy flow. I like the Two of Pentacles, as with all twos, they can represent decisions, choices, being at a crossroads. Twos also connect to partnerships, right? So we're going to want to look into this further, but normally this is a card of harmony, where it's like, nice, balance, everything just seems to be flowing my way. So I usually like it. But what might be the downside of the Two of Pentacles, aside from the fact that it has the universal symbol? It can be karmic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But the Two of Pentacles is literally juggling, right? You see him there. He's juggling those two pentacles. He's doing a little balancing act. So when this card shows up, we might have a lot on our plate. We might be juggling a lot of things in situations. So again, watch out for the overwhelm, because we go from the Four of Pentacles, very, very slow, quiet crickets, to boom. This could be a lot of stuff happening on the back end, or business picks up. So I want to dive deeper on all the Capricorn. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot. Because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. So let's go in on that Four of Pentacles. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Capricorn, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is that Four of Pentacles here? Maybe it's something good, hopefully. Oh, okay. All right, so don't mind my reaction. I apologize about that. We have the Death card in the upright. This can absolutely represent the close of a cycle. It could represent endings. Sometimes it could represent loss. Now, I'm not always worst case scenario when it comes to the Death card. If we put all those other messages to the side, this is scorpionic, and we look at the big picture of it, it's really not that scary. I know it's not the nicest imagery, but to me, death represents a change, a shift of energy. Whether we want it or whether we don't, everyone knows life is perpetual change. Things are always evolving. So again, for some of you, could this be holding on to something that's closed out for a while? It doesn't even have to be something very recent where it's like, no, I'm still affected by this, still holding on to this, potentially. But at the same time, it's like I'm just waiting for the energy to shift. It's like a biding my time, where it's like, okay, I'm just going to hold the line. I'm going to hold the line and see what happens from here. So I don't want to say it's an anticipation, but this is an energy that's waiting for a sign, waiting for a shift, waiting for an omen. That's potentially how this is showing up to me, because death is also karmic. So a lot of stuff showing up here in the front. Again, I'm not like really too nervous about it, because if it is a close of a chapter, it could be something that's happened long ago or something that's already happened. But to me, it's like I'm anticipating this change. I'm anticipating this shift, and it could definitely come with all this other stuff we have coming up after it. So I want to say we're going to keep digging deeper. So we're going to put the death card down right there, my friends. Let's go in on the Knight of Swords. We'll see what he has. Yeah, we're not going to overcomplicate that. It is what it is. So why is death here? Well, not death. Why is the Knight of Swords here for my Capricorn friends? What do we got? Okay. This is a lot of restraint potentially. Now, the one thing I like about this, we have temperance, beautiful spiritual protection. So just know a lot of Capricorns, there's a beautiful spiritual bubble around you. I like that. Whether it's guides, spirit team, angels, Archangel Michael is always a welcome sight in any of my readings. Big Sagittarius vibes here, but temperance is all about patience, right? So like when I get the Four of Pentacles and temperance and death, it's like I'm biding my time for something. I'm just waiting on the sign. I'm waiting for the go. I'm waiting for the green light. That's like really what this is showing to me. Now, this is action here in the center, but it's like I want to do it, but I'm stopping myself. So there's like this energy of restraint that I'm picking up here. Could it be dealing with another person or a situation? Potentially. But it's like there's this result I want, there's this thing I want, but I'm holding off for now. I want to do this, but I'm not letting myself do it. That's kind of how this shows up to me. Because remember, this card's all about patience. And when I see the Knight of Swords, it's like, oh, I wish I could just do it now. I wish I could just make this happen. I wish I could make this move. Now, we do have the shift of energy still. We still have this change that I really want to see what happens when we get to the Two of Pentacles, because temperance is more about like divine timing when I see the Knight of Swords, where it's like, I want to do this, but I don't want to force it. So there is this elapsing, shifting, changing energy that connects to divine timing as well. Because another thing about temperance, it's not only about patience. There's a certain alchemy to it, right? We see Michael looks like he's doing nothing, but what's he doing? He's moving the water from cup to cup. Something's building up under the surface. So I want to see how it plays out as we move further. So I'm not sure what this person is restraining or refraining from, but let's go in on the Two of Pentacles. Maybe we'll get an answer here. So why is the Two of Pentacles here? Okay. Okay. All right, that's good. I mean, this is a win in the end. So very similar vibe to what we were picking up last week. We have the Ten of Cups in the upright, which is beautiful. You know, that's one of the best cards in the whole entire deck. It's probably top three when it comes to energy. Most definitely claimable stuff right here. See the happy family. It's a beautiful day. The rainbow, 10 full cups. It's everything. So like when I see the Two of Pentacles with the 10 of Cups, it's like, I'm happy that I waited, or I'm happy that I let things flow. So again, like there is this energy here where it's like, do nothing, do the most or let it flow. If you're in a place like that, regardless of what you're dealing with, it's all about letting things unfold how they need to. Not necessarily holding yourself back. Trust, right? Trust in the timing, trust in how something's elapsing, trusting that things are working out for you, not against you. Because this absolutely is a massive winner victory right here on the back end. So similar to the payoff we saw last week. Now, the Ten of Cups, aside from being everything, you see the happy family. It could represent home, household, people that are near and dear to our hearts. So there's a very comforting energy here as well. So whether it's a shoulder to lean on or just a thought, a person where it just brings me comfort, I think it's beautiful. So once again, even though we have a little choppiness in the front, the end goal is what we're looking at, where the energy is heading, even if it's not right now, even if it's not today. I feel like there's some aspect of divine timing where things are working for me, even if it seems like it's not. So we got that big winner victory here on the back end, most definitely claimable. Let's get it tucked back in here. Yeah, so let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadows. So I like where the energy went. I was a little nervous about this front end, but where the energy went actually puts me at ease. If you kindly look in the box position number one, we got the Four of Pentacles, Death card in the upright. Could this be something we're still holding on to? Could this be an ending of some sort? Potentially. I don't think we need to fully focus on it, but it's like, I'm going to wait for a sign. I'm going to wait for this energy. I'm going to wait for the green light. That shows up multiple times here. There's this like restraint, refraining that carries over when we get to the Knight of Swords and Temperance. There is something building up, even if it seems like not much is moving, like on the surface. Underneath the surface, there's a lot of energy flowing and things coming together. There's this big energy of divine timing. So I love it. And on the back end, we have this flow state vibe where it's like, all right, if I don't force it, if I don't rush into something, I get the best result. We have the Two of Pentacles, Ten of Cups in the upright. So again, whether you're dealing with work things, career things, personal relationships, you name it, even health, this energy is a very positive end result, a win or victory in the end. And I most definitely feel like that's claimable. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get your one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this shadow card out. What do we got for Capricorn? Thank you. Okay. Four of Swords, and it does kind of fit the vibe of what we have here in the front. Now, the Four of Swords is usually that picture of a person that looks like they're laying down, meditating. It can represent the sleep state and dreams and imagination, similar to what we saw in the very early stages. It's an inward-facing type of energy. All fours are holding their ground, so it kind of fits with this energy we have here in the front, where it's like patience, let something unfold, don't make any big moves, don't make waves. Like this energy kind of just lets an energy flow and do what it needs to do. That's the good thing about the Four of Swords. But the downside of it, the shadow side of the Four of Swords, is like, okay, well, if I sit here and I don't do anything, what if something never happens? There's an energy that could be very impatient or wants to get something moving, which is another thing we saw within the reading itself. So the Four of Swords asks us to allow, trust, let things flow. There's also something here about rest and recuperation. Yeah, watch the frustration here. And if you're not getting enough sleep, make sure you're getting the proper recuperation, because this energy is like, I need a break. So we're just going to leave it at that, Capricorn. That's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the August subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The August calendar is up and spots go quick, so you might want to check that out. But for the August subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 winners at random to either choose the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, which is an absolutely stunning deck, or one of the custom-made crystal pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed, and second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards that showed up in your reading today, which one intrigued you the most? Which one caught your attention, and why? And you put that in the comments, you'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab / post tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.